Hello traders, Gary Wagner here, just before 10:30 in Honolulu, 4:30 in New York. It is Wednesday, June 22nd, and we are looking at the Dow Jones Industrial Average, which is just settling off about 50 points on the day at 17,780. Of course, about 10 hours from now, the Brits will begin to go to the polls to vote as to whether or not to leave the European Union. When we look at our Standard & Poor's also trading lower, but these are nominal changes. We are seeing quietness as we go into the final hours before that vote begins. But the S&P vis-a-vis the E-mini, 2077.25, putting it off about 3.25 points. One interesting facet to today's trading activity is just how closely the Standard & Poor's E-mini followed the British pound, the currency, through its peaks and valleys throughout the day. We'll take a look at a chart to show you what we are talking about. So one caveat before we look at these simple line charts, and that is typically, we do not look for any kind of correlation or relationship between how equities move vis-a-vis the S&P 500 and the British pound. However, as we went into the close of the market today, and the fact that the Brexit referendum vote is coming up in roughly 10 hours, there's absolutely no doubt that traders followed strength and weakness in the British pound almost tick for tick. Now, this is a 60-minute line chart. On the top of this line chart, we have the British pound as it trades against the US dollar. So there's our spread there. And on the bottom in blue is simply the S&P 500 E-mini futures off of Globex. We currently have the pound, which is up right now, up nominally 0.2% at 146. Here's the interesting thing. Take a look. You don't have so much correlation. Yesterday, you can see that there's really not any pattern you can see, and you can actually see how the British pound spikes up here, and the equities kind of meander up. But here's where it starts to get strange as we go into these final hours of trading, and that's right here. Let's go ahead and kind of highlight that. Absolutely no doubt, almost a tick-for-tick relationship. British pound moves down, equities moves down, finds a tentative bottom, finds a tentative bottom. Look at the slope and recovery of the British pound. Look at the slope and recovery of the U.S. equities vis-a-vis the E-mini. A nice spike that tops off right here. You get that spike, and although it doesn't top, you then go into this extended rally in the British pound. You get the same thing happening in U.S. equities. Finally, you get the market beginning to sell, and you have the equity selling. However, there then becomes this disconnect as we go into the close or settlement in the Standard & Poor's. Standard & Poor's moving down, closing near the lows of the day, and the British pound getting a little spurt at the end. But there's no doubt it is quite unusual, but it's something that we very rarely see. I can honestly tell you I've never seen this kind of a correlation before, and I thought it would be something interesting to point out. Now, obviously, we are sidelined on this market. We are looking to see what equities do, and it is going to be part and parcel, really dramatically related to whether or not Britain leaves the European Union. And although the probability of Britain actually leaving the EU is set somewhere around 25%, overwhelming odds that they will stay, there still is a percentage chance that they will leave. But the bottom line is, regardless of what the odds makers are looking at, the bookies in England, so to speak, or even the poll numbers as they come out, the Brits are going to vote. They're going to make a decision, and I don't believe any of us know what that outcome will be, although those with more stable heads, I should say, are absolutely adamant that the proper move is for Britain to stay the course and to remain in the European Union. We'll have to see what the outcome is. As I said, that's going to occur just hours from now. And of course, we will report on all of that activity on tomorrow's daily report. This has been Gary Wagner wishing you, as always, good trading. We'll talk to you tomorrow for another daily update in trending markets. Bye-bye.